What's up, guys? Dark Deli here, playing American Truck Simulator, and today I want to give a review of a really awesome truck. It's what we're sitting in right now. This is the Peterbilt 281/351. I guess this would be the 351. And there's so much to say about this truck, so I want to do it quickly. First of all, you notice this one actually has exhaust. Even when it's not running, the animation is just always there. I'm mentioning that right now because you're obviously seeing it right now because my truck's not even running. Alright, there's a lot of great stuff I want to show you about this truck. Okay, so first of all, this truck comes from a mod. Always be careful when downloading, unapproved mods for a game. Always scan them for viruses, and of course, just be careful when using mods. I'll have a link to the site where I got this mod in the description below. Let's talk about the truck. First of all, this is a classic and beautiful truck. I believe they quit making this back in the 70s, the 351 that is. And, well, let's fire it up. Now, one thing I want to say before I fire it up, this is not the engine that came with this truck. I found the engine that came with it to have some glitches, so I'll show you the engine transmission setup I recommend to get the best sound, but I will tell you this, of all the vintage trucks I've reviewed, this has some of the best sound and feel. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Alright. Now, we got a repair shop right over here. We're going to do the same thing that we always do to make sure we're nice and straight. Let's back up here. And we're going to go over to the repair shop. Okay, first of all, the sound. I always kind of do the sound first. Let's put the guy in neutral, let's put the parking brake on. You hear the air brakes, very nice air brake sounds. This is not the default sound, this is an engine I thought sounded better. And we're going to go over all the cool engine sounds. I'll show off the engine sounds. Let's go ahead and do that now, since I do that first. So here's all the cool sounds of the truck. I'll be quiet for you guys. Alright, so yeah, it's a very cool sounding truck. Let's move up here to the shop, and the first thing you want to see is all the different... This truck has so many configuration options. It's quite silly, actually. But I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, this truck has a lot of options. In fact, more than I've ever seen. Now, first of all, I gotta kind of appreciate the old school look. Like, for instance, the rivets along the hood. You have the option of the old school air conditioner on top. Even that rusty aero piece on top of the cab. I love how you can put rusty parts on this thing. The mod author of this paid a lot of attention and did a lot of great stuff. Now, there's so many ways you can set this truck up. So let's start with cab designs. Alright, so there's two main configurations you can run this truck in. One is the way I'm running it here. Now, the other way you can run the truck is you can run a day cab, and what you can do is you can go here and you can get a longer chassis, and what you can do is I'm going to skip through a few things. I think it's over here. Yep. So you can run... Now, this is going to... I know, isn't this cool? I've not seen a truck that does this yet. So, you can still run a trailer, but this... Obviously, you don't have a fifth wheel, so you're going to have to run a tandem trailer. So you could still pick up like tandem trailer jobs and run your truck like this with various different things in the back. If you run the long chassis with the day cab, you can run dump trucks and all kinds of stuff, and you get the picture. There's a flatbed here. I mean, this can be such a sexy truck in so many ways, and that's the one thing I wanted to show you. And yeah, again, as I said, the smoke is always pouring out, but I like that it has smoke. As an American who likes old school diesel trucks, and yes, I know, see, you can see all the modification points on this thing. We'll touch on that. Alright, so I prefer this particular cab here, and I prefer a 6x4 chassis with some decent, what chassis was that running? This one. Yeah. And that's personal preference is wheelbase. All right, so the engine it comes with, I think, is the top one. But it has a weird sound issue where the engine cuts out every time you come to a stop. The engine like dies and restarts or something. Maybe that's realistic, but right here is the engine I'm using. This is the one I recommend. You'll get the best sound, especially if you want that cool American truck sound. You're gonna get the best out of this one right here, and it's not super overpowered, as you can tell. 335 horsepower, 1298 newton meters. Um, but it's enough to pull heavy loads. Might be a bit challenging at times. You'll still chug pretty good, but it's all pretty well and done. And here's the This is not the transmission it comes with either. I chose to pair this engine with this transmission. I think it's the best setup for the Peterbilt 351. All right, so I wanted to get that out of the way. Now let's look at some of the options here. Interior options. All right, first of all, there's only two. Now that this is all okay, so this mod comes already patched for Sissel's Mega Pack. Apparently, I did not have to download anything else extra. So the stuff you see in the dashboard is, of course, from Sissel's Mega Pack. It automatically works with this truck. Yay. There's only two interior options. One of them has a skeleton on your dashboard and one doesn't. I'm not sure what that's about because I'm not sure who the mod author is. That's okay. I believe there's quite a few paint jobs. Yeah, there's a crap load of paint jobs. All this came with the truck. You get a lot of options here for paint. I'll scroll through these. Some of them, if I recall, are pretty wicked. There's like a Captain America or Universe or whatever. I don't know superheroes, but right, there's like superhero paint jobs, and you got and all these colors, as far as I know, should be customizable because I customized the color of the paint job I'm using. But as you can see, there should be some. I think there's some really sexy ones, aren't there? Yeah, like this one right here. Yeah, that's pretty sexy. And then we got like things like this. You can. I chose to make mine look old and rusty, but you can go a lot of different ways with the Peterbilt 351. All right, so now let's have a look at boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this part. All right, so now one thing about these points is a lot of them, most all of them are not in English or don't seem to make sense, but I'm not going to count that against the truck. Work around it, right? All right, let's just have a look at a few of these. Turbo wing, you can have a clean one or a rusty one. I chose a rusty one, or you can just remove it, And then we've got roof sleeper lights. Oh yeah, okay. We'll talk about that. And then we got what is dim? Oh, okay, that's the smoke. Well, sorry, here where it says dim, that's actually, or I think that's what it says. That's the smoke. You can turn that on, or yeah, you can turn it off. You can turn it off and not have smoking stacks. If you like the whole clean environment thing, whatever. But come on, all diesel trucks used to pour black smoke out. That's just the fact of it, or it used to be. All right, here it says HOLOD. What this is the AC unit on top of the truck. And again, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not a super linguist. I don't know what language it is, but you can kind of figure out what everything is. Then you have two dots here for lights and horns. Let's move up front. I usually kind of move front to back, and I started in a weird order. Here we have logo. This is the hood ornament, and there's a bigger selection than I've ever seen. Here we have logo tip, and this is the logo on the front, the Peterbilt logo on the front. There's a couple different choices there. I'm trying to find what's on the actual front of the vehicle. There's a lot of, again, yeah, a lot of this is not in English, so you're just going to have to scroll through it, pick the options. But there's so many options, like here's front mirrors, here's different little light options. What's this? Oh, Fender Guards. I actually chose no Fender Guards. Bumper. A few different bumpers I like. Well, I chose the one I wanted. Guys, there is so many options on this truck. It's mind-blowing. I think I probably spent a couple hours setting this truck up. Oh, yeah, front mud flaps. Let's move around here. We have fender options. You can see we have wheel options. We have air filter options. Let's check out the air filter options. Okay, pretty standard. Just chrome or painted. At least they made one thing for us simple there. The mirrors are pretty simple options. Here you can choose. You can see I have double tanks. Instead of having double tanks, okay, you can have them chrome or painted. But I believe if you swivel correctly, You can choose to have one of them as a battery box plus steps instead. You know, sometimes you got to maneuver these trucks around just right to get. Okay, here's where you change the exhaust. All right, so there's only two, three, four. There's only one, two, three exhausts. There's this one, and this one. But hey, not bad. Now back here we have mudguard options. We have good mudguard options. I chose to run just like I think I'm running. Yeah, I'm running these just little quarter mudguards. I wanted an older, more rustic, not super custom look. You guys can kind of see everything we got here. We got usual tire and wheel options. This truck does come like this. Notice how my rear tires are mismatched. This truck does come like this. See these Dynamix tires here on the back? So what I did, see, no, they are bigger. They are indeed bigger. So what I did is I went through and changed everything to those. Yeah, to make the truck look like equal. And then I chose the wheels that went with the truck. You can see those tires are bigger now. The wheels don't fit. So what I did was I just copy pasted the wheels from the back to here. The flaws in this truck are so few and far between. They're hardly worth mentioning. Let's go to the interior. Lots of options, as you can well see. I wanted to keep as much of the vintage look as I could. Now here you can choose all kinds of different textures for the dashboard. I mean, this truck has more options than I've ever seen. You can choose all kinds of options for textures in the truck. Choose whatever kind of wood or whatever suits you. And it's the same with the floor. You can, oh, sorry, this is the side. This is the interior. You can choose all different kinds of interiors. And where's the floor? Oh, it's center floor items. Okay, that comes in Sissel's Mega Pack here. Here you can choose the floor material of the truck, however you want it. All right. I assume you guys are familiar with Sissel's Mega Pack. That's how I have dashboard and windshield sets. Let's go ahead and just have a look. If you do have that, this will work with it. There's only 3 spots on the dashboard sets, so that's a little limiting. And then we have the windshield sets, and this is actually limiting as well because if you put anything on the top, it will clip through the top and not be seen. I mean, the truck ain't perfect. This is not the perfect truck, but it has a lot of really awesome things. Let's get the truck out of here and have a look at the inside. Now that you've seen enough of this, let's leave. Yes, definitely cancel everything. I like my truck the way I had it. All right, now let's get back in the cab and let's have a look at things. All right, first of all, let's drive forward and get out of this thing. Let's have a look at what controls in the truck work. Let's go ahead and put her in neutral and put the parking brake on. All right, first of all, the controls. Okay, well, let's see which ones work, which ones don't. The parking brake is right here. I kind of like it. It's cool. It swivels. And if I crank it enough, I'll probably run myself out of air. This is the info panel. If you choose to have an info panel, it's going to look like this. Here, let's rev the truck up a little bit. Let's take the parking brake off. Let's drive. Let's see if I can get a... Well, the info panel on this particular truck, I'm trying to run it out of air. Okay, there's a little warning that's popped up on the thing right there. If I keep cranking this, then it's... Okay, well, I can't get it to work for the video course, guys. What I'm saying is, one small annoyance with this truck is if you run your air low, it'll let you know. In fact, it blanks out all the info on your info panel and says low air, and you can't read your info panel, but just until you get up to speed. All right, let's have a look at the other things here. Let's see, wipers. I've not had to use the wipers yet on this truck. Now, they run like that, so they could leave the center of the window open. I'm not sure. What I mean is the center of your window could end up washed with water. Can't really say. Let's have a look at the other gauges and dials. Let's have a look at turn signals. Yep, you see the little lever moves just like it should. All right. Now, one thing I've not been able to find in this, so basically everything works here, right, guys? Everything basically works here. The one thing I've not been able to find, we can look around the inside of the truck. Oh, you can pull, this is a truck where you can pull into, you can sit in the passenger seat. If you swivel around, you can change to the passenger seat. I'm not sure what the utility of that is, but if you want to. There you go, just by moving the view over. Now, of these little of these little toggle switches here, there's one toggle switch you can't see, and that's my lights. That's the one that's hidden by the steering wheel. I tried my best to adjust my truck position so that I could see it, but no matter how I adjust my steering wheel, it's blocking one thing or another, and it's blocking that. Cannot confirm whether or not that works. What I will tell you is I've not yet found an engine brake indicator. Right now, I just toggled it on. Now I toggled it off. However, with this truck, you will undoubtedly hear the engine brake. You will know when it comes on. This truck is loud and rowdy, so you will definitely know when the engine brake comes on with this truck. No fear. Excuse me. No fears there. All right, so that's pretty much, there's the modifications and kind of what the inside of the truck looks like. Oh, up here you can see where the cab lights kind of shine through the roof a little bit. It never bothered me. The truck looks pretty good at night. We're going to show you some footage I'm going to show you some footage here of the drive, and you'll see it during the day. You'll see it at night. You'll see it on the highway. You'll hear it engine braking. You'll see it slow down, speed up, chug up hills. Let's go do that right now. There's a lot to show and say about the Peterbilt 281 351. That's been added into American Truck Simulator via a mod. Beyond the incredible attention to detail and all the configurations, there lies the enjoyment in driving it and listening to it. Back onto the possible configurations, I really do like the option to run the long chassis with the day cab and just have a load in the back and run like a tandem trailer, though it does eliminate the option of, the fifth wheel. And I haven't tried that out yet because I've been buying other trucks. But I like the fact that it's an option and it looks beautiful. All right, so now I've got a little over 1,000 miles in the truck. What was it, like 1,100 something? And at least at the time of this review, I haven't used the day cab configuration yet, but I'll get to it. The thing I love about this truck really is the combination of just all of the above. I reviewed a few vintage trucks added into ATS by mods, but none gave me the vintage feel like this Peterbilt 281/351 that we have right here. Right now I'm showing you footage. This is footage of a delivery I made. I'll try to mix it up, add some sound in here and there so you can really get a feel for it. I ran it on a couple of deliveries, and although it's still not my favorite truck, I'll save that one for a later review. This one's up there. This thing gives me that great vintage feel while still allowing me the amenities of a decent GPS, info panel, things like that, which I like. I like to kind of know what's going on. I like to monitor everything. This truck mod, which is linked in the description below, does seem to automatically allow Sizzle's Megapack integration without downloading a patch. So that was handy. That was a plus. I was able to add the stuff on the dashboard, no problem. Now there's a couple of small things to critique here, of course, some of which I've gone over. One being that many of the pieces you can modify, most of them actually aren't in English, but I'm not counting that against the mod. You can pretty easily figure out what's what by toggling it around, right? It wasn't that hard to figure out what was what. Also, the cab lights, as you saw, they shone into the cab a little bit, at least for me, but I really didn't have a problem with that. And the backlighting also, this is a great point about the truck. I'll show you some night footage if I haven't already. The backlighting of everything on the, in the cab and on the dashboard feels great, and the dashboard, it's not as dark as previous trucks I reviewed at night. The last one I reviewed, I think, was the Mac R. I think whichever one I reviewed last, the dashboard just went like black at night. I mean, you could see the backlighting of the dials, but the whole rest of the dashboard was black, and I couldn't see any of my toggle switches or anything. This is a great truck for long hauls. It really is. It looks great. It sounds great, and it has more customization options than any truck I've seen yet. Now, I do count the sound of the default engine against it. It doesn't sound right. But, that could be on my end. Regardless, the engine and transmission choice I showed earlier, they not only sound the best, it chugs up hills realistically, but at the same time, it doesn't feel overpowered. Works well for normal as well as heavy loads. I really hope the mod author I like this truck so much, I hope the mod author keeps this truck updated for future versions of the game so I can continue driving it. This is also the first truck I've seen, that had the added option to have the black smoke. I know trucks nowadays don't necessarily smoke, but Well, in my day, they always did, and this is a truck from the 70s, so there you go. Now, yeah, and maybe it's just me as an American, but I love the old vintage truck and all the signature black diesel exhaust. All right, so the only option I haven't had a chance to try is the wipers. Well, I told you I didn't try that other chassis either, but it looks like, yeah, you could get some, if you have a realistic rain mod, you could get a lot of water washing in the center of the windshield where the wipers don't hit. Could be a small, tiny issue. But honestly, here's the skinny on the Peterbilt 281/351. And that's that there's so many awesome things about it. There's so much good to say. I have to recommend this truck to everyone. And there is, again, a link in the description. Take you right to the site. You can download it. Always scan mods for viruses. Be careful when you're using, external sites to download third-party mods. Always be careful. I had no problems. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this truck as much as I did. I enjoyed driving it, and I really enjoy hearing it. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Dark Deli. I'll catch you all next time.